gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Facts and Realities of Education. In Facts and Realities of Education, we discuss educational issues, trying to find out which are those loopholes that affect the smooth functioning of this very important system in our country. Today in the program, we will be talking about the single book policy that has been introduced by the government of Cameroon that is expected to take effect from the 2018-2019 school year. With me in the studio is a publisher, Kimbang Tata Vitalis, who will be talking to us about this one book policy in Cameroon. We are reminded that this policy would be effective in both the primary and the secondary education. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Vinicius, and good evening to all the televiewers.
Thank you for taking time off your schedule to talk to us about this one textbook policy. Before we get into it, what is this one textbook policy all about? What is it for our listeners and viewers?
The one textbook policy is a system whereby we have only a single book per subject, per class. For example, in English, we have only one book. It's not like before where we used to have so many books for teachers or head teachers to make their choices. So this was ordered by the Prime Minister of Cameroon, Mr. Philemon Yang, on the 23rd of November 2017, that it will have to go operational this academic year.
But when we talk of one textbook policy, let's be precise. What do you mean? Define it to a level in such a way that our parents who are watching us can be able to understand what we mean, because so many people seem not to have understood the concept.
The concept is that we have only a single textbook per subject, per class. And this policy entails that if you buy a book in Douala, you should be able to use that very book in the same class in the Northwest, in the North, in Betua, and all over the national territory.
Okay, what we mean here is, if we take, for example, history for Form 1, if we're using a particular book in history for Form 1, it is in all the schools in Cameroon. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
That particular textbook?
That particular textbooks.
Yes, in history.
Let me give
Form 1.
example of my own book.
Yes.
We have, in the nursery, we have elementary English nursery 2.
Yes.
And that is the only book that you are supposed to use all over the national territory.
Okay.
In nursery 2, as far as English is concerned.
Okay.
Then when you go to class 3, we have elementary mathematics, class 3, which is supposed to be used by all the schools in the national territory.
Okay. Now, is this textbook is this one textbook policy, is the policy applicable only in government schools, or it goes through to private schools?
When you say schools, it means all the schools, because government controls all the schools.
Really?
Yes. Yes, because there's an argument that comes up. Some people say, no, it is only for government schools. No, it's not only for government schools, for all the schools in Cameroon. Because all the schools in Cameroon are under the Ministry of either basic, secondary, or higher education. Yes.
Okay. Now, let's look at how this policy, I believe, when the government talks about this one textbook policy, there should be some advantages behind that the government wants the citizens of Cameroon to enjoy. What are these?
If you look at what used to happen at first,
yes,
we used to have so many books and so many publishers and so many clandestine publishers, and this was to the disadvantage of the parents. But with the single book policy, the child can use a book in class 2, then the junior brother who is in class 1 can still come and use the same book.
Okay.
Then secondly, if you look at the prices of the books.
Okay, before we get to the price.
Yes.
For how long are the books supposed to be used? Because is it that if my child uses it now in class 1, the junior brother will use it in class 1 next year? For how long would the same textbook be used?
With the policies that have been put in place this year, I learned it's going to be for 2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Then as from 2020 upward, it is going to be for 6 years.
6 years?
Yes.
So this is still we are still at the experimental phase of the policy?
We believe like that.
Okay. Yes. Now let's talk about the price of the
as
an advantage.
If you look at the prices of the books, unlike before, the prices have been considerably cut down.
Okay.
So about 40% and above.
Mhm.
So when you look at it now, it is going to give parents some economic advantages. That the prices have been cut down. It is now easy for them to maybe buy all the books. Then the number of books too per class has been cut down. Because we look at Nursery 1 or Nursery 2, there are only 3 books.
Okay.
Yes.
3 textbooks.
3
I
textbooks.
think that's
Yes.
yes.
There are only 3 textbooks. Then class 1 and class 1, that's both English and French. That's SEAL. They have 8 books.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Then when you're talking about the price, what I wanted to find out is my parents like me. I don't know how much that mathematics book you are talking of in class 3. How much would it cost? Is the price list available for parents? Are parents aware of it?
Everybody is aware of it because
It's supposed to.
it's supposed to.
Yes.
Yes, because unlike before, the National Book Leader came out this year, came out with the prices
Tacked to it.
tacked to it. So if you don't even need to go to school to ask for a book list before you buy books for your child.
Okay.
Yes, you can go
Alright.
to a bookshop straight. And before going to the bookshop, if you are a vigilant parent, you must have gotten all the prices and you know the amount that you have to carry for each class. Not like before where you used to go and they give you any price and you take them.
Okay. Now let's talk some more again about this issue of price. For example, we are here in Douala.
Yes.
Take a parent who is in Jakiri.
Yes.
The books that the bookseller will buy from Douala to Jakiri, will it still be on the same price?
We have a policy. We work with all the bookshops and we give them at a certain.
You as a publisher,
Yes.
they didn't want to look at it from a general perspective, because they
The
wouldn't believe that you as a publisher will supply books all over the country. Perhaps you will not be the only publisher to supply, perhaps in Jakiri. Or me, I'm not understanding
We
the
have
concept.
a unique percentage that we give to all the bookshops in Cameroon.
Okay.
Yes. The prices that you see on the national book
Book
list,
list, yes.
those are prices for parents
Okay. Wherever you are in Cameroon.
wherever you are in Cameroon.
Okay.
Even if you are in Akko,
Mhm.
even if you are in the north,
Mhm.
yes, the prices that have been given by the minister must be respected.
Mhm.
Then we have our own prices that we give to the bookshops.
To booksellers.
Yes, all over the national territory.
Okay. Okay. So it is an advice to parents to be aware, to get by all means. By next week, we'll bring you the prices so that we discuss more on it, so that parents should get informed. They should know how much a book should cost.
Yes.
So that even if you are in Jakiri and you want to buy, you know that you are buying these textbooks for 2,500 francs. It's not the question of going to find out the cost.
Yes, for example, in Nursery 1, we have 3 books, and those books they will cost 4,500.
Per book or all the 3
All
books?
the 3 books.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Class 2 is 4,000 francs. Yes. Nursery 2, I mean, 4,000 francs
For all the books.
for all the books.
That will bring a
Yes.
smile to some of us parents,
Yes.
because you understand what it means, perhaps, especially like in those of us who are in private schools. The child carries a bag with about 5, 6 books, 7 books, and they may end up not even using them.
It's true, because at first, they used to force parents to buy certain books, teachers, because of their own interest, which I don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course, there are.
Yes.
That's why teachers produce books and they sell. They have different books in different schools.
Yes.
Yes.
I have an example. My son was in one of these mission schools, private schools in Bamenda, and he was calling me on daily basis that their English teacher has asked them to buy a certain book. I sent money. He bought the book, but at the end of the year, when he came back, I discovered that they have not used even a single page
Okay.
of that book.
So the essence was just buying the book.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's look at it. If this policy is going to be, there's nothing without the weaknesses. What could be the possible weaknesses of this policy, even before it goes into operation?
The weaknesses, as we have said, there's nothing without a weakness. It is not going to be easy for all the books to circulate throughout the national territories.
Okay.
Yes, because many publishers, they would like to circulate in town because they know that that's where they make much money. You take, for example, somebody who is in Wa. except that there's a bookshop that will leave more to come and buy, let's say, from Bamenda or from Kambe. I don't think there's a publisher that will employ a worker and send there. So in town, it is going to be very effective. But in villages, I think there's going to be some problems.
Okay. But then, are there some of those books that we have published? Are there some of those books whose publisher? Perhaps they are single, call it business, single operators?
Yes, there are single. There are people who are operating them single-handedly, not like a company.
A company, yes.
Yes. So I think there's going to those are the books that will have the greatest problems. But for a publishing company like us, we have people all over the national territory.
And it's possible that your books gets to every other corner.
We have people in the north, we have people in the south, we have people in Yaoundé, we have people in Douala, we have people in the southwest, we have people in Bamenda.
Okay. Now, another shortcoming that was coming, I wanted to find out from you. Is it possible that private schools, proprietors, would they be able to, try to send in their own book again? Is there a possibility? Are there checks and mechanisms? That's where I wanted to go to make sure that they go down into the schools to find out whether the book list given are being respected, especially in lay private schools.
Yeah, that's where the problem is coming from now. Because when you look at the book list, many teachers have said that they are not very satisfied with the book list because there are some activity books that children used which are not there.
Maybe workbooks.
Yes, workbooks. So when you look at most of the book lists that have come out that I've seen, they have additional books, and when you ask them, they will give their reasons.
Okay.
I don't want to dive into it because I'm not one of the teachers.
So now teachers are already adding their own books into the national book list, is that?
Yes.
But then parents, when they are adding, are they adding it with a unique price, or would that book added be able to cover the national territory?
For example, in Douala, we have some publishers that are based here.
Okay.
Which teachers believe that they have good books that can aid the children.
So they pass through those publishers.
They pass through those publishers and get some of their books, and they insert into their
own book list.
In their own book list.
Yes. But from every indication, like we are discussing, no school is supposed to have anything again like book list this time.
Yes, but human being what it is. Yes, people cannot respect the law 100 on 100. Yes.
Okay, but ladies and gentlemen, we will take the risk to make sure that in the next edition of the program, we would bring you the book list, the national book list as it is, so that you can be able to have your own book list from the house. You don't even need to go to school again to find out from the school which is the book for my child. But then, like you have it at the bottom of your screen, there is the contact. You can participate in the program. Remember, we would only take comment from participants who signed them. We will not take anonymous comment. Participate, tell us who you are, from where you are commenting, and we will take the comment. You have the contact on your screen there. Then before we go there, we were saying that next week we are going to bring the textbook, the national textbook for the Anglo-Saxon system of education first, and then later on we'll bring for the Francophone subsystem of education, so that parents can have them. We are at your service. But then before we go, we're looking at how applicable this policy could be. Do you think that it will work?
It is going to work because although some teachers have added some books into their book list, I believe that for all the book lists I've seen, they have respected what the government said. Yes.
Okay.
My greatest problem now would be, as I earlier said, those in villages. Whether some of these publishers will be able to reach them. Yes.
Okay. Let's hope that we have these textbooks, that these publishers make an extra effort to have them. We'll take an element. There's an element we did on the problem of textbooks in schools. Let's take that element, and we'll be back immediately after that element. Several parents in most towns and cities who have been in search of textbooks and other didactic materials have been disappointed by the non-availability of prescribed textbooks in local bookshops. With the introduction of a single textbook per subject by the government, taking effect from the 2018-2019 school year, the takeoff could not be that hitch-free. To make the bad case worse, the national book list was released later than publishers expected.
The national book list came out this year very late. And so we don't print in Cameroon, we print in India. So we could not have gone ahead printing while we have not seen what the government is going to take from us.
While textbooks are not the only factor influencing learning outcomes, their unavailability deprives learners of a resource to facilitate the teaching-learning process. With barely a few weeks to school resumption, publishing houses are working round the clock to contain the situation before it gets out of hand.
We are assuring the public that we are going to buy some book by air. Latest 2 weeks, our products will be available in Cameroon.
As has always been the roots of black market economy, when there is a shortage in the market, the question of prices of these books have been adequately handled by the state such that parents should not fall prey to dubious booksellers.
If you look at the new books that came now, they are coming with prices. So parents should be very aware of what is in the market and how much are they going to buy what is in the market.
Publishers have taken steps on their part to curb or completely eliminate the notion of pirating books.
If you look at the quality of our books, quality, content, everything, we are superb. And if you want to maybe pirate our books, I don't think there is anybody who would like to take that risk of pirating our books, because he will not be able to match with the quality that we have. We want to pirate that very quality in Cameroon, he will not come out of it.
It should be noted that these books selected and authorized by the government of Cameroon will be in use for a period of 6 years. Okay, we are back again in the studio. Let's look at the after that element there. How do you appreciate that element?
No, it's
Does it describe the situation we are going through now? That's what I wanted to say.
actually, yes, what we are going through now.
What we're going through, what I mean is the scarcity of textbooks.
Yes, when you look at when the government published the national book list, it was all evident that there was going to be some scarcity this year. Because normally the government was supposed to publish the national book list some 3 months before children
Before resumption.
goes on a long term.
On holidays?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it usually comes out in March. But this year it came out almost at the end of June.
Okay.
Yes. So it is not easy for us to print within this short time and satisfy the customers in the market. Owing to the fact that many of us don't print in Cameroon. Owing to the fact that most of the books that we submitted to the ministry,
Not all were returned.
not all were returned. Some of the books were books that we revised them.
Okay.
So we didn't have old stock of those books. That's where the scarcity is coming from now.
Okay.
But,
yes.
but we are assuring the public that we are going to fly some of the book by air. Then latest this week end, some of the books will be available.
That paper was done 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yes.
I assured you people that it was going to be
Yes.
2 weeks.
That's why I'm asking like
2
that.
weeks.
Yes.
So this weekend,
It's likely that we are going to have textbooks.
yes. Then early next week, the books will be in the market. Yes.
Okay. What has the government done to make sure that since the book list came out late, is there any measure that the government took to facilitate your task, you publishers?
Government has given us another additional week. If you bring the books the last week of August, you are excused.
Okay.
You bring the books first week of September, you are excused.
Okay.
Because this time around, government cannot hold us responsible for the scarcity in the market.
Okay.
If they have brought out the book list earlier, we would have produced the book early.
On time.
Yes. Last year, our books were in Cameroon. End of July, we already had books.
Okay.
Yes. But it's surprising that it's already mid-August and we are yet to have books.
Okay. Like a publisher, you people are obliged to work now with some pressure. And you know when you are at the begging end, the person printing your book he may charge high prices. Are you able to cope?
Yes,
Will you be able to cope it? Because in that element there was something like the books will be flown to Cameroon, and
yes, we have to. We don't just look at the interests of our own interests financially. We have to look at the interests of the children. Yes, that's why we say we are going to fly some book by air. I know how costly it's going to be.
That's it.
That's just to satisfy parents.
Okay.
And because we have the interests of our pupils,
your customers
at heart. Yes.
Okay.
If not, we would have stayed and bring the book
when the ship will arrive.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, but you have that duty, call it professional or obligation, to make sure that you live up to your expectations. But then, how have teachers been reacting? You said something there, we were not too clear. How have teachers been reacting to this issue of one textbook policy?
To be very candid, so many teachers were very disappointed when they saw the national book list, because they believe that what the government selected
was not to their favor.
Yes. That many of the books were not up to standard.
Okay. No, when you say standard, in terms of content?
In terms of content.
Okay.
Yes. Because many of them have the complaint. And as if they say that government left them out of it. Of the selection.
Of the book selection committee.
Yes. But I don't know whether teachers were among those who selected the books in Yaoundé.
No, but I think that is done by education. I believe it is handled by the ministries concerned. Experts from that ministry concerned, yes.
But many teachers, they are complaining.
Experts of ministries who have something to do with the curriculum. With the curriculum.
Many of them believe that the books were selected based on maybe some envelopes exchanging hands. So they just feel that what the government has given them they're not happy with it.
Okay.
Yes. Many of them have expressed a disappointment with the national book list. And I just told them that no, it is government. Government has the knife and the yam. If you are not satisfied with what government has done, you can write to the government.
Correct.
Yes, because when you now sit and agitate and say no, I'm going to do my own.
Your own word, your own textbook.
I'm going to come out with my own list. I'm not going to respect what government has said. It is wrong. If you see that what government has done, you are not happy with it,
advise the book commission so that they
you write to the government that this is what I was expecting. The people gave this one. Then I'm not happy with it. I'm a teacher. Then you give the disadvantage of what government has done and the advantages of what they want government to do, and they listen to you.
Who defines the policy that I think it's the government that decides what they want to pass to their citizens.
It's the government that design, the expert in the ministry that design the curriculum. And I believe that those who selected the books were expert, and I don't want to judge them, but what I've heard from teachers is that they are not satisfied with what government has done.
Teachers again. Anyway,
for example, myself,
yes,
I'm a publisher. I cannot pretend that I was very happy too, or I'm very happy with the system too. Yes, because I was also expecting that maybe I was going to have more. You know that as a human being, you always expect more.
But there are many of you, so if they gave you one too,
at least I should be grateful.
Correct.
Yes, I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
All right. Yes. Now let's look at there's another element here. Let's look at this reaction of this parent. He is talking as a parent too, trying to find out how applicable what the government is doing to make sure that this one book policy goes on. Let's look at this single book policy.
Wonderful idea that the minister has come out, the book commission has come out with, because it is going to reduce the costs, schooling costs. You see, parents used to invest enormously on books, and at times some of these books were useless. Not even you as a parent, you might have noticed that at times your child will come back from school at the end of the term, you have not even used up to half of the book, whereas it means that book was not relevant. And the government has taken some measures this year to put in place to reduce the number of books on the book list, which is wonderful. I think we are going to see it this year, and everybody is going to appreciate. measures have been taken to make sure that in the littoral region, the book list is actually what the Prime Minister has signed. In all schools, they are going to see into it that that book list is respected.
Okay, that is the what Mr. Ndikum Evarestus. He works with the regional delegate of basic education here in Douala, and governments have taking measures to make sure that the national book list is respected. We hope that will really be put into practice and make sure that we track out those who want to go away or deviate from that national book list. You have been in the field. Have you had the opportunity to get parents talk about it? We are almost running out of time.
Yes. Many parents, they are very happy when they hear about the prices. They are very happy when they know that the number of books that they're supposed to buy per child has reduced. Yes. Parents are very happy.
Okay.
Many of the parents are happy.
Okay.
Yes.
So we hope that if we can have that from the beginning, we already have a positive look from parents. We think that the Prime Minister and the entire government is on track.
We believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Kimbang, for taking time off your schedule to talk to us about this single textbook policy.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this edition of Facts and Realities of Education. Next week, we'll be coming back, and like I promised, with this issue of the national book list, we will make sure that we bring it out so that parents can be aware of it. Do not go away. Programs continue here on DBS Television. We'll be together again next week, God willing. Good night.